You're a man and you really want to build up confidence in your life. Maybe there's a particular area where you've been knocked back and you're just like, how do I build up my confidence? Well, I've certainly been there many, many times, had my confidence knocked and had to build it back up. And today I really want to give you some tips around building your confidence. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra tip for you then as well. Now, when I was 16 years old, I got a bit of a story. Yeah, I was 16. I was trying to think, was I 15, 16, 17? Yeah, pretty sure I was 16 anyway. I went to, and I was writing about this the other day. I went to a new school. So I was finishing year 11. I know different countries have different terms of it. I was finishing year 11 and I was coming into what's known as sixth form, but that's like the equivalent of college, where you're 16 to 18 years old typically. Sometimes people go older, and then sometimes I appreciate college is like the equivalent of university. Anyway, I was 16 years old going to a new place, and I had some friends in that place, but they weren't going that day. They were going another day, and I was going for an open day to like kind of explore it. And there was a bunch of people in the room, and I didn't know, and I was very like socially shy. When I got comfortable and used to people, I could be okay, and that's where I was. But I was going to this new place where I knew some people, but they weren't there. And at this stage of my life, so almost, I'm double that age now, at 33, almost 34. Well, be 34 when this, almost when this episode airs, because my birthday's in a week. And basically, I was very, very insecure, very shy, right? And I hid in the toilets because I didn't want to see people on my own, or didn't want people to see me sitting on my own or standing on my own. And I didn't really know how to interact. And I was put with like a bunch of people at the beginning because as a teacher saw I was alone and put me on a table with a bunch of other people who were also alone. And I was like, oh, so nervous when people were looking at me, and I was just kind of like shaking inside. And then I got talking to this group and I was okay because they all also were new, and we're kind of just making small talk and that kind of like awkward conversation. Anyway, like lunchtime came and I actually saw some people I did know who I wasn't friends with. I wasn't like disliked or enemies with or anything like that. But yeah, this group I kind of knew them. Like I kind of half talked to them, and at lunch this was another group. And but then they went away somewhere, and I kind of felt a bit awkward to follow them, so I was on my own, and we had the whole lunchtime before we were meant to go to the next lesson. So I didn't want to be seen on my own, so I went and hid in the toilet, and that was quite a sad moment thinking about it, but also a really empowering one because I realised how confident I am now getting myself out there and speaking to people and interacting with people and doing presentations, public speaking, all these kind of things, and how many friends I've met over the years. And really, I know there's people out there, and maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you can relate to one of them. Maybe you are one of them. I might have certainly been one where you're just like got it in your head that you just can't get out there, and you're not likable, you're not sociable. Well, I appreciate different people got different like you've got like introverts, you got extroverts, sometimes in the middle. I would say I'm pretty in the middle actually. I used to think, oh, I'm an extrovert. Well, I used to think I was a super introvert, but I didn't know what it was. Well, that's what I would have defined myself was. Then I was like, I'm an extrovert because I go around talking to everyone. But then I realised like I don't. Sometimes when I'm with a crowd of people that don't bring out the best of me. No judgment against them, or I don't feel like we can interact as well. I kind of withdraw a bit and like to spend some time on myself. So I think I'm pretty in the middle, but I appreciate everyone's different. And it's not about you've got to go out and interact with everyone all the time and be like the most sociable person ever. It's just if you want to build up a bit of confidence here, and we're not necessarily meaning social skills, it could be confidence, anything, could be in music, could be in something. And this is what I've learned that's really built my confidence over the year. But ask yourself this: if you got in your head that I just can't be confident in this thing, I've got no confidence, I can't do it, how is that really serving you? Because if you're anything like me, it didn't do me any favors. So, I'm going to give you some really simple steps on how you can build confidence today that I want to share with you. Number one, know where you want to go. Right. We can do two things. We can look where we want to go, or we can look where we don't want to go. Now, consciously, you probably think, yeah, I want to look where I want to go. But we get into such habits and patterns that we're like, oh, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. And then suddenly we're not even aware of what we're doing. So by consciously asking yourself where you want to go, because energy will go towards which direction you're going. If you're like, I don't want that to happen, I don't want that to happen, I don't want that to happen, energy's going to, and it's going to make you feel fearful and not as good. So if you're like, right, I want to go there, even though things are difficult, that's where I want to go. Now, if you're in a very difficult situation, practically, of course, you got to handle it. But generally, you want to be focusing, you still want to be focusing where you want to go even then, but you want to be focusing where you want to go, because that's going to give you clarity. All right. And I'm going to go through like goal setting. I've done other episodes of it, but what I always like to do is look at a big vision and then kind of break it down into like, what's the next exciting thing? So like, if you want to be a multi-millionaire, you'd never earn more than 100k or 50k a year or whatever, like totally no judgment, whatever, like someone's made. I'm not a millionaire, of course. But like, if you want to go from like making £40,000 a year to a millionaire, like that's probably not going to happen in a couple of months. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. So you might be looking as your next step where you want to go, right, I'm going to earn £10,000 revenue. Fantastic, great. And then you get excited about that and then you move towards that. So that's an example. Or you want to meet the love of your life and get married, right? That's going to take a little bit of time. So maybe it's just the next thing you're going to do is go on a date with a beautiful woman or beautiful guy or beautiful person, whatever your preference, right? So focus on where you want to go. Like, what is it you want in what area of life? So when we're going through this confidence formula, think about the area of life you're looking at it to go. The second tip I've got for you is, and keep reminding yourself that, read it every single day. And all these steps are going to go together. The second thing is putting a small action you can do daily towards it. So you've got your vision, then maybe you've got your next step. What's a small thing you can do today? And then keep looking at what you can do each day. Just a small thing. So for example, you want to be a speaker, you want to like, and this is just an example of my life, like you want to speak somewhere. Like I had as my next action was to go and sign up for Toastmasters, which is a public speaking forum, right? That's all I had to do that day, sign up for Toastmasters. And I was like, yes, get excited. Where I found it really tricky and lost the confidence is when I'm like, right, I'm here, I'm really so far from this big vision. And then that just made me feel rubbish. Instead, focus on like, what's the next big thing? What's the exciting thing you're looking forward to? Is it like you're going to do a public speaking thing? It might not be that. Or is it you're going to earn a certain amount of money or go on like your first date for a while? Whatever it is, right? But then the next step is like, for the dating one, it could be just to sign up to a dating app or a dating website, right? The money could be like, the next step could be make a plan. Like, what are the things you're going to do to make money? Or maybe you're just going to listen to like a millionaire on YouTube the next day or something like that, right? So that's the next thing, right? And that can build confidence and celebrate it. When you do it, celebrate it. Get excited about it. This step. You're not. This is where I found I've set myself up to failure, and this is what I've learned from some very wise people, and it's really helped me move forward, is you want to like get excited about where you are now and what you're doing every single day. It's not about you get to the destination and then you're going to be happy. It's about what you're doing every single day. The third thing, look at times when you built confidence in something. Just think of one thing, one example. Maybe it's learning to drive. Maybe it's learning a certain job. Maybe it was passing an exam in school, right? Think of a time when you've got confident in something that you weren't confident from at the beginning, which is pretty much everything, by the way, right? Because we're never good at something at first, like even when we're learning to walk, right? The problem is we've not been brainwashed. Usually when we're learning to walk, if you're blessed enough to walk on this earth, I know not everyone is, but if you're learning to walk, like babies or toddlers don't think, oh my God, I forgot what age it is we do learn to walk as a baby or toddler. Anyway, when you're learning to walk, you don't think, right, I'm giving up, right? But you got very good at it, like if you're able to walk, right? Like same with a job or anything. We forget that we lack confidence at the beginning and then we built it, right? Okay, so you can list a specific example and then think, right, how did I get confident in that? And you're like, oh, I've already got the formula. I've already got confidence in something. That's something that's really worked for me. Okay, my final bonus point for you today is just celebrate every single outcome. It's kind of like playing on the back of what I said, but when we get excited, when we get happy, what I found is a lot more things show up, right? Now, if you're not so much into that whole like spiritual side of things, just write it down as evidence. That's what I did, as being very left brain logic. I wasn't into that kind of thing. But when I started like noticing a correlation between me getting excited and celebrating things and then raising my mood and things actually showing up, and I started logging it down, then guess what? Like, using the science behind that, I like, the science side of things. I was like, okay, I need to celebrate more. I need to get happy, because then things started showing up more in my life. And then also I felt more confident. When you feel good, you're going to feel more confident. And even if something goes wrong, even if it's like not your outcome, you're going to celebrate. You're going to celebrate not at like that result, but celebrate the fact you took action and that you've learned something. Okay. So that's what I got today on some steps on how you can build confidence. I really appreciate you for listening today. Thank you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.